My dear brothers and sisters in faith, life is a journey filled with challenges, uncertainties, and moments where we feel helpless. There are times when no one seems to understand our pain, when our hearts feel heavy, and when even the smallest task feels impossible. But remember, when the world turns its back on you, Allah never does. Allah is always near, waiting for your call, waiting for your dua. Uncertainties and moments where we feel helpless. There are times when no one seems to understand our pain, when our hearts feel heavy, and when even the smallest task feels impossible. But remember, when the world turns its back on you, Allah never does. Allah is always near, waiting for your call, waiting for your dua. The beauty of dua is that it needs no special language, no appointment, and no formalities. It is the most intimate conversation between you and your Creator, the one who already knows what you're going through, but still loves to hear your voice. There are 3 powerful duas that can transform your life, heal your heart, and bring light to your darkest days. These are not just words, they are keys to peace, faith, and strength. When said sincerely, with full trust in Allah, they open doors you never knew existed and bring calmness to your heart in ways you can't explain. The first dua is Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. This dua is a shield for the broken hearted and a comfort for those betrayed or disappointed. When you lose hope, when the world seems unfair, and when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, say this dua and truly mean it. It was the same dua that Prophet Ibrahim recited when he was thrown into the blazing fire by his people. Yet Allah commanded the fire, be cool and peaceful for Ibrahim. The fire that was meant to destroy him became a source of peace. That's the power of this dua. When you recite it, you are surrendering every worry, every pain, and every fear to Allah. You are declaring, Ya Allah, I can't handle this anymore, but you can. And when you do that, you'll witness how Allah changes the situation in your favor, often in ways beyond your imagination. The second dua is La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There is no power and no strength except with Allah. This is one of the treasures of paradise. It carries immense blessings and relief for anyone struggling with anxiety, weakness, or despair. Sometimes we think we can control everything, our career, our relationships, our future. But this dua reminds us that nothing moves without Allah's permission. When you say it, you are surrendering your ego and acknowledging that only Allah can give you the strength to move forward. It's a phrase that can transform stress into peace and fear into courage. When you feel exhausted and drained, whisper these words. You'll feel a wave of calmness filling your heart. Your worries won't disappear instantly, but your heart will be steadied with trust and reassurance that you are not alone. Think about it. When you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, you are telling yourself that every victory, every success, and every moment of strength is from Allah. You're reminding your soul that even when life feels out of control, there is a higher power controlling it all with perfect wisdom. And that realization alone can lift the heaviest burden from your shoulders. The third dua is Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min karin fakir. My Lord, indeed I am in need of whatever good you bestow upon me. This was the dua of Prophet Musa, when he fled from Egypt, hungry, tired, and uncertain of what awaited him. He had no home, no food, and no one to turn to. Yet his heart was still filled with faith. In his weakest moment, he turned to Allah and admitted his need. And what happened next? Allah blessed him with sheltered food, safety, and even a spouse. That's how Allah responds when you call upon Him sincerely. This dua teaches us humility. It reminds us that no matter how strong or independent we think we are always in need of Allah. We depend on Him for our health, our peace, our provision, and our guidance. So, when you feel empty, when life feels uncertain, say this dua and ask Allah to send goodness your way. Whether it's peace in your heart, blessings in your life, or solutions to your problems. Allah loves those who ask, and He never disappoints a sincere heart. But my dear brothers and sisters, understand something important. Making dua is not just about repeating words. It's about speaking to Allah with your heart. It's about believing that He listens even when you can't see any change. Sometimes Allah answers your dua immediately. Sometimes He delays it because the timing isn't right. And sometimes He replaces it with something far better than what you asked for. You may not always understand His plan, but you can always trust it. When things don't go your way, don't lose faith. Keep saying these duas. Keep talking to Allah. The moment you raise your hands and whisper His name, you are not alone anymore. Angels surround you. Mercy descends upon you, and your heart begins to heal. Even if nothing changes outside, something changes within. And that's where true peace begins. You see, Allah doesn't ignore the cries of a sincere heart. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night you've spent, and every silent prayer you've whispered has already reached Him. You may think your duas are unanswered, but perhaps Allah is preparing something greater for you. Sometimes the delay is a form of mercy. Sometimes the no you hear is actually Allah saving you from something harmful. Trust His wisdom more than your desires. So make it a habit to say these 3 duas every day. When you wake up, whisper them. When you feel lost, say them. When you feel blessed, say them in gratitude. The power of these words lies not just in their meaning, but in the faith behind them. Believe that Allah will answer, and He surely will. Remember, dua is your strongest weapon. It can change what is written. It can open doors that were locked, and it can bring peace to a heart that feels shattered. Never underestimate the power of a sincere conversation with your Lord. He is closer to you than your jugular vein, and He knows what your heart feels even when your tongue can't express it. So my brothers and sisters, trust Allah's timing. Keep your heart soft, your faith strong, and your dua constant. Say with full conviction, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, because Allah is enough for you. Say la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, because all strength comes from Him. Say Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khairin fakir, because you are always in need of His mercy and goodness. And then watch what happens. Watch how Allah replaces your pain with peace, your confusion with clarity, and your tears with blessings. You look back one day and realize that every hardship was actually leading you closer to Him. Every unanswered dua was protecting you from something you didn't see. And every moment of patience was writing your story of faith. Keep believing, keep praying, and keep trusting. Because the one who holds on to dua never walks alone. My dear brothers and sisters, in the journey of life, every soul faces moments of weakness, fear, and uncertainty. We live in a world that constantly tests our faith, our patience, and our trust in Allah. Sometimes we find ourselves drowning in worries, feeling as if the weight of the world rests upon our shoulders. We question why things are not working out, why prayers remain unanswered, and why life seems unfair. But in those moments, when your heart feels heavy and your eyes are filled with tears, that is when Allah is closest to you. That is when He is gently calling you to turn to Him, to call upon Him, and to seek Him through dua. Dua is not just an act of worship, it is a lifeline. It's a direct connection between you and your Creator, a conversation between the servant and the master where your soul finds peace even before your situation changes. And within the countless duas we know, there are 3 that carry an immense power, 3 short yet mighty phrases that can transform your heart, your mindset, and your destiny if you say them with faith and sincerity. The first of these is Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Oh, Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. These words are not ordinary. They were recited by the greatest believers when faced with the toughest trials. Prophet Ibrahim A.S. said these words when he was thrown into the fire, yet that fire became cool and peaceful for him. The believers during the time of Prophet Muhammad As-Sadawiyus said these same words when they were surrounded by enemies, and Allah strengthened them with peace and victory. This dua carries a message that no matter how hopeless things appear, Allah is enough. When you say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, you're not just repeating a phrase. You are declaring that your trust lies in Allah, not in people, not in circumstances, and not in yourself. You are handing over your pain, your worries, and your affairs to the one who controls all things. Sometimes people will fail you, plans will fall apart, and life will not go as expected. But when you trust in Allah, you realize that what seems like loss is often a hidden blessing. Because when Allah takes something away, He always replaces it with something better, even if it takes time. The second powerful dua is wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. There is no power and no strength except with Allah. This is one of the treasures of Jannah, and it is a source of strength when you feel powerless. Every time you say it, you are reminding yourself that you cannot move forward, you cannot change anything, and you cannot succeed without Allah's help. It is a statement of humility, a declaration of dependence, and a source of peace when life feels overwhelming. When your heart feels heavy and your body feels tired, whisper these words. Let them sink deep into your soul. This dua doesn't just change your situation, it changes you. It calms the heart, strengthens your patience, and removes the illusion of control. It teaches you that true success is not in what you can do, but in what Allah allows you to do. How many times have you faced something impossible, only to see Allah open a way out when you least expected it? That is the essence of la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's a reminder that every bit of strength, every solution, and every blessing comes from Him alone. And then comes the third dua, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min karin fakir. My Lord, indeed I am in need of whatever good you bestow upon me. These were the words of Prophet Musa a.s. when he had fled from Pharaoh, exhausted and alone. He had no family with him, no food to eat, and nowhere to go. Yet even in that moment of weakness, he didn't complain. He didn't ask for wealth, comfort, or safety. He simply said, My Lord, I am in need of any good you can give me. And soon after, Allah blessed him with a home, food, safety, and even a spouse. This dua is a lesson in humility and gratitude. It teaches us to admit our need for Allah, to surrender our pride, and to seek goodness from Him in all forms, even when we don't know what's best for us. Sometimes we think we know what we want, but Allah knows what we need. When you say this dua, you're asking for goodness in your life, goodness in your heart, in your health, in your relationships, and in your hereafter. And Allah, the most generous, never turns away a servant who asks Him sincerely. My dear brothers and sisters, these three du'as are not just words to be memorized, they are truths to be lived. Say them when you wake up, when you feel lost, and when you go to sleep. Say them in moments of gratitude and in moments of despair. Say them not because you are desperate for a miracle, but because they remind your heart that Allah is always in control. Sometimes you may feel that your du'as are not being answered, but remember, Allah's silence is not His neglect. He delays only to give you something better. What you see as a delay might actually be protection. What you see as a closed door might be the path leading to something greater. Trust Allah's timing, even when you don't understand His plan. Each time you make dua, you are strengthening your bond with your Creator. Even when you feel broken, those whispered words reach the throne of Allah. He hears you even in your silence. He sees your tears even when no one else does. And He answers in ways that bring long-term peace, not temporary relief. So don't stop making dua. Don't stop believing. Your duas are never wasted. They either bring what you ask for, protect you from harm, or become a reward for you in the hereafter. No dua goes unanswered. Every "Why Allah" you've ever uttered is safely stored with Him, waiting for the perfect time to unfold. When you say Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, you hand your affairs to Allah. When you say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, you find strength in your weakness. And when you say Rabbi inni lima anzalta alayya min karin fakir, you admit your need for His mercy. These three are not just supplications, they are a way of life, a mindset of surrender, and a reminder of your place as a humble servant before the Almighty. So tonight, raise your hands and call upon Him with a heart full of faith. Tell Allah your worries, your fears, and your dreams. tell Him what no one else knows, and then trust Him completely. Because when you truly believe that Allah is enough for you, He will show you that He always was. You'll see doors open, hearts soften, and miracles unfold. Keep saying these 3 powerful da's, and you'll see what happens. You'll see peace where there was once pain, clarity where there was confusion, and blessings where there was emptiness. Because the one who holds on to dua never loses. They only rise higher, closer to Allah, stronger in faith, and richer in peace.